Hey guys, welcome back to War Thunder and welcome to some BF9 G10 gameplay. Now, a week ago we took a look at the G6 and a lot of the talk was aimed towards the use or disuse of additional armaments on the BF9s. I'm a person who says definitely use gunpods. A lot of other people are going to say don't use gunpods because it hinders the aircraft's performance pretty much beyond useful. So here's a match on Sicily where I'm using gunpods and I'm going to be flying this plane like if it didn't have them. And really, this is the charm for me about BF9s, is that you don't need to really adjust the way you're flying. With the G6, I kind of had to. With the G6, I had to really force myself into going into head-on passes, kind of going a bit more in a risky situation to really put those guns to work. But with the G10, I just don't have to. But this replay isn't just special because I was able to use the BF9's amazing, and I mean amazing, feel. I call it the reaction time, really. It's just how well the plane responds to your maneuvers, or movements of the mouse, you know, how well it takes in that input and just, damn, this is why I love the BF9 series. You'll see what I'm talking about. But there was a problem. You see, every once in a while when you're facing, especially allied teams, there are some players who, well, they like to stay and kind of stick out of the bunch. They like to do things in their own way. And we're going to encounter a few of these along this match. And it's going to get rather interesting because the match kind of starts to really get intense towards the end. Well, we're in a climbing process. And climbing is one of the things I always say, you know, it's the most important part of any realistic battle. Well, we're not doing a damn excellent job. We've been rather uptight here. I'm not going to bother climbing much. This is the joy about BF9s for me. What I'm going to be using is the tactic that I like to call self-baiting, right? What is self-baiting? Well, it's very simple. An enemy is going to be above you, he's going to be traveling at higher speeds, and he's going to be trying to put shots into you. Now what you're going to do is you're basically going to bait him. But you're going to bait him for yourself. You're going to slow down, you're going to force the enemy to overshoot, then turning straight back into them and, well, sealing the deal. It sounds a lot easier. It's very difficult to actually do it in real life, but then again, you know, it's a game. You have to kind of put in a bit of risk to get some biscuits out. So yeah, let's cut the crap of climbing and let's start with some action. Action, you say? Yeah, not quite. Here's the bad situation of this match. The German team, even though having extremely good climbing aircraft, BF9s, Focke-Wulf 90D9s, nobody, and I mean nobody, beside me and my two squad mates, bothered climbing anywhere. And even myself, with the gunpods included, I'm going to have a hard time getting to altitude. I'm now barely at 5k, and I've just come to a few bad realizations. The first one's quite obvious. We're on our own right now. There is absolutely no cover going to be coming in, and this is a thing where things start to get very hard. Having teammates around you gives you a bit of a safe area to retreat, like a safe house where you can come back and hope that somebody's going to cover your ass. But when everybody's below you, you're the one who's going to be having to cover them. It would be nice if I had right now the ability to dive down and engage the targets that are down low, but I can't. Because what I've just spotted is a lemming train of bombers heading directly for our base, and they're being engaged by, you've guessed it, nobody, because bombers are clearly not important to be engaged. Now, I tend to ignore bombers, right? In the G6, I just happened to have attacked that B-17 that was flying past me. But this is a different story. You see, we're on Sicily. Sicily, unlike Ruhr or most other maps, doesn't have bombing points, meaning that bombers don't have to go and attack 3 different targets before engaging the airfield. They can go straight for the airfield. Now, here's the fact. I can dive down, try to help my teammates out, but by the time that I've done that, the bombers will have bombed the base and the game could be over just like that. I'm not risking it. So I'm getting some altitude, and I'm going to try to clear the shit out. I see at least 2 bombers there. They appear to be B-17s, at least I can only guess at this battle rating. Indeed, one of them is a B-17, and they're roughly the same altitude, slightly below us. I'm going to have to think this through very, very carefully, because the last thing I want to do is get myself blown to smithereens by those bloody 50 cals. And you see, well, this is one of those situations where having gun pods is a very, very warm and welcome feeling, because you can very quickly kill a B-17 with just 30 mils, but what you're going to have to do is you have to go very close to the enemy aircraft. You literally have to be near to ramming them to make sure that the actual ammunition that you're going to be spending is minimum. But like this, I can just spare a few of those 30 mils, I can spray with the 20s a little bit, and I don't have to worry about immediately having to return to base because I'm still going to have enough ammunition for the rest of the fight. Now at this point we've only lost one player and the enemy team's pretty much been, well, gone by about 50%, so yeah, easy win, right? Well, just wait. Just wait. Now the first B-17 I'm going to engage, the one above the other one. Altitude has to go first, so simple rules. I don't quite know what this guy was doing. He was probably trying to align with the base. He was a little bit sideways there. It was impossible for him to put any shot into me, and I finish him. Oh, it's like hot knife through butter, really. Now the second one is veering off to the side, but again, he goes into a sharp right-hand turn, and you really shouldn't do that because you're exposing those bloody large wings. And of course, the 30mm go sparking straight off that wing. That wing should have come clean off. And that's the thing. If that right there was just the 30mm in the nose, maybe I wouldn't even gotten a hit. That's the issue about the 30 mils. They're good when they work, but when they don't work, oh, you're in for a bloody nasty surprise because they're gonna do nothing. Now, two of my teammates, or one squad mate, one teammate, have made an approach on the B-17, and Swag Ranger said I should mention his name, so there, have a shout out. Now the B-17 at this point is, well, I think he realised what was going to happen. I just went straight for the pilot dome there. When attacking bombers, try to go for the wings. The wings are the weakest, or maybe for the tail section, but if you really want a clean kill, just snipe the pilot. It just doesn't get easier than that. Now, the engagement has overheated my engine quite nicely, but then again, BFR9s, and one of the things I love about them is you can WEP for ages, and the trick about the engine is it overheats quite quickly, but it also cools down in seconds. Don't worry about it, WEP freely. Now looking at the enemy team, they've got 3 players left, and we've pretty much have the entire team. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah. AAA, that P-51 up above us. Our team is about to start falling one by one. It was insane. I absolutely couldn't believe what was about to happen, but fair enough. Right now, my mind is concentrated on that P-51. He's diving down for the Focke-Wulf 190, and he is probably at least 1.5 kilometers above me. Now, the Focke-Wulf is in a really bad position, but the P-51 is close to our LS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of my self-baiting tricks. Rule number 1, let's put on our smoke. Why our smoke? Because we want, okay, and I say we want this P-51 to come after us. Come on, sunshine. Come on, come to daddy. Here we go. He's diving straight for me. Put the plane into a sharp bank, slightly dive, tip away his guns. There we go, nice and gently. Comes forth. God damn it. A little bit of lead, but you can see how easy that is. Now that P-51, what he just did was, he just wasted his one and only chance, not just to kill me, but to kill the remainder of our team. He had the altitude. But by diving after me, by trying to put a shot on target, he has literally just sealed the deal. There's at least 5 people now engaging him. He's going to try to go into one last resort dive. That guy's done with. So, what happens now, Orange? Well, beside the fact that the P-51 dies, does a B-29 come and kill your base? No. Okay, so where's the problem? The game is over, right? No. You see, there are a few people in this game who like to do things in their own way. And we're about to meet 2 very, very special players, and some Griffin Mark 22 and Mark 24 Spitfires. Why? Well, because since the beginning of the match, they have done nothing but climb and hide. Yeah. Now, I don't have a problem with that, right? You can play the game however you want. But what these two players did, what these two players did is they started to be cocky in chat. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm cocky as all hell. But when you're cocky because you consider yourself a good pilot. And the only way to prove you being a good pilot is by actually doing something. And what these guys were doing was just, well, they were somewhere. I have no clue. They could be at 10,000 meters and we wouldn't know about it. Now, luckily enough for me, I did in fact communicate with one of the enemy teammates who was pretty much giving me an insight where they were, what the altitude of them was, and what the actual situation was. So I went over to check the enemy base, but there's absolutely nobody here. At this point, I've managed to realize that one of the enemy teammates is in fact a fan, a subscriber, so I'm persuading him to telling me where the enemy Spitfires are, because the last thing I want to do is, oh god, see my team? Yeah, that's the remainder. From the entire team being alive, we're now down to 6 players. That's how bad things were. And there we go, he broke and he gave me information. 2 griffins climbing to space. It's really not much of a useful information, is it? I don't know where they are, all I know is that, well, they're climbing to space. But the griffins forgot about one little thing. And the one little thing they forgot is a little feature that was added a few patches back. It's called the contrail. Now the contrail appears when an aircraft goes usually about altitudes of exceeding 6,500 or 7,000 meters. It's really cute because it makes a white line behind your plane, but what it also does is it gives anybody who's flying below you a very, very nice representation of where exactly you are. And that's exactly what's about to happen. As I'm looking up above me and try a little bit to the right, I wonder what that could be. A random white line in the middle of the blue sky. I guess Nigel's snipping cocaine at fucking 9,000 meters again. Now, griffins were in fact climbing to space, but they were doing a damn bad job at it, because by the time I reached enemy base, turned back around, climbed back to 6,500 meters, these griffins are barely above me. I mean, they really have done a very piss poor job at climbing. And you're probably looking at the screen and screaming, "Orange, your smoke is still on!" Yes. And I want it to be on. Now, these Griffin Spitfires have been calling me and my teammates sheeps. Listen there, mate. This sheep bites back. Now, at this point, I was basically feeding off of the greed of these two players. They tried continuously to boom and zoom, but to no avail. I mean, just look at what they're doing. Look at that. You call that a boom and zoom? You're coming right in front of my guns even though you had a 2-kilometer advantage? Yeah. At this point I realized that these two guys were nothing but mouths. They were being loud in chat, showing absolutely no skill whatsoever. And this makes me feel very good about myself, because I know for a fact that I'm not going to have an insanely hard job. But then an F7F joins the plan. Now, Spitfires are nasty, but the F7F for me is nastier, and I'll tell you why. That thing has got armament the size of freaking Texas. The last thing I want to do is get shot by it, because one shot from that thing is going to kill me. And I mean, it's going to kill me. So I'm scared of that thing. I'm not scared about the Spitfires. The Spitfires were the ones to be loud. I don't think they can do anything at this point. I mean, you know, if you're in a Spitfire climbing to space, but then being unable of boom and zooming a BF-19, that's trailing orange smoke in the middle of the bloody day, killing his engine off, then I don't know what can help you. Now at this point I was checking over towards our friendlies and I started feeling a little bit bad. Now I do have Ranger there following me, but the rest of my team is either down low or has just landed to rearm. Well, great, because that means that there's 2 of us against 3 enemy aircraft that are superior maneuverability, superior altitude, superior dive rates, because they are above us, fucking hell. We're dead, aren't we? We're absolutely dead. And then Swag here, Swag decides that he's going to pull some swag out of his pants and do what a Texas Ranger would do. Go full out ham on these 2 guys. So he says turn around, what I do is I do a simple split S here. He baits the Spitfire perfectly. I mean, just look at that. Both trailing orange smoke. This is called tag teaming, bro. So come out of the dive straight. I'm looking, just looking. Come on, come at me. There we go. He dives down, goes into a head-on pass. Boom, fireballed. I don't think he'll do that one again. Who's the sheep now? Second Spitfire's coming down. No problem. Going to a slight little dive. Let him come, let him come. He's on me now, let's tip him off. Slight turn. Make a dive down kind of wannabe maneuver. And invert straight back into him. Now, he didn't quite follow me through to that one. I couldn't possibly get shots from that distance. And at this point the F7F's closing in, but as we're going into the cloud, let's turn the smoke off and go stealth mode. Now the F7F was playing it very, very safe. He's the one on the enemy team that requires a bit of a shout out. The other two were just being mouths. He was actually trying something because he was flying the plane right. He didn't take risks, he was constantly doing the right thing. Spitfire goes into a split S after stalling out, and yeah, I don't think you're going to stall out again. This is a BF-109. Gunpods or not, it's got a bloody powerful engine. Bye bye, mate. Now, unfortunately for me, the actual first Spitfire set afire with that head-on pass is still alive. That engine did not die, but that's just one less Spitfire in the area, and now I can kind of try to deal with the F7F. We're coming out of the clouds. Now the F7F is just, you see him stalking, and now he's going in for a dive. I've got to be very careful here. Do a bit of negative G's. I do not want to get hit by that thing. Not a single time. Sharp turns, he tries to put some shots in. Again, same maneuver I'm using all over again. He pulls away, comes straight back into him. And he was just a little bit too far at this point for me to put any shots on target, so I just used the MGs, the 30mm, to spray a little bit if I do in fact get a hit, but nothing there. At least I don't waste any ammunition. Now the Spitfire has returned back. I have no clue how this guy is still retaining that speed, considering that he was set afire, but whatever, UFOs. Now this one Swag's been hit as well. He's trailing black smoke, and it looked pretty damn epic right there. Look at that. He's following the Spitfire into a vertical, and this was his mistake. As he's falling through the vertical, the F7F comes back down at him. That was close. That could have been the end of Mr. Swagster there, and luckily enough he lives through that one. Spitfire's coming back down at me. This guy, he just kept trying. Kudos for you, mate. Kudos for you. Now at this point he realized that, well, it seems like I can't kill this sheep, so let's run away like a good bashing wolf. Again, I have no clue what that plane is flying on, because considering it was set afire, his engine is smoking, and if I'm on 4 minutes of fuel, that guy shouldn't have more than 2 minutes left, but whatever, we'll ignore him for now. Let's cool down the engine and let's chase this wolf down. Now looking behind me, range is a bit of a trouble with the F7F coming back, so I'm going to turn around and lay him some assistance. But there is a Focke 490 coming into the area. We should have some backup there. The F7F does a loop, and luckily enough for him, Focke doesn't have a clear shot there. Otherwise that F7F would have been toast. But right there is where tables turn. The Focke is now above the F7F, and the last resort the F7F has really is just to dive down and try to outrun us. Now he sees Ranger, so he's going to try to put some shots into him, but you know, he's diving down at such high speeds that really there's no way he's ever going to put those shots on target. I'm trying to chase him through here, but the F7F is one of the fastest planes to dive. Look at that thing. Damn, it's like a jet. Nope, not following you down that dive, because I'm going to rip my wings faster than you're going to rip yours. Now, I'd love to follow this guy, but I'm never going to catch him in a million years. And by the time that this guy's managed to do his little escape plan, the other Spitfire has started to make his way back. So what I'm going to do is going to make a little Immelman here and go straight for that Spitfire. That guy, oh, he has ruffled my jimmies since the beginning of this match. Come here, wolf. Let me show you what we sheep do best. Now by this time the entire team has decided to engage the F7F. We don't have to worry about that guy anymore, and oh, there's my little friend. Now I could have easily taken a head on here because, well, that's technically what he was doing. It just shows how desperate he was. Look at him. Look at him. He's just grasping for a head-on pass at this point. You know what? I'm just not doing it. I don't feel like it. You're just not worth it. Well, regardless of the fact, I'm down to minute 40 fuel, so let's turn around and get back to base. Well, the Spitfire isn't done with his head-on adventures. He goes head-on with Ranger, and it's a BF-109. There's only one way that's ever going to end. And remember how I said that the F-7F was the only player on the enemy team that actually did try to do something? Yeah, he also did that. American teams, we love you. We love you just like a redneck loves his sister. With a shotgun. No, but really, I find nothing more annoying in this game than people who are being smart in chat, only to end up doing, well, doing worse than a dog would if you gave it a keyboard and a half-functional mouse. Alright, so shockingly enough, didn't end up first place even though killing 3 aircraft, because killing 3 AI is clearly worth more points than actually going for valid players. Yeah, let's not go into that one. Oh wow, look, a consolation prize of backups. Oh god, not like I'm ever going to use that. Well, it was a decent reward, to be honest. BF-109 G-10, what do I think about it? I think it's an amazing aircraft. I think that if you do have problems with the G6, wait till you get this bad boy. It's like a baby K4, and something tells me that if you like this, then you're gonna love the K4. So yeah, if you have any questions about how to do self-baiting or anything in that regards, I might even do a tutorial on that once in the future. Or if you have an aircraft suggestion, put it in the comment section below. But until next time, take care and safe flying. Oh, and to those of you who are flying in the allied teams, calling other people sheeps, hiding at 10,000 meters only to then get your arse handed to you, get wrecked! Now, the P-80 is way too fast. I'm not going to be able to catch him, and I do spot a little dot up there to the right. There we go. The F-80 is coming in. Now, he's above me, but that's not a problem. Remember what you have in the nose of the vampire. Yeah, 4 Hispano Mark 5s. Wouldn't do that if I were you. Damn, bro. They never learn. The thing is, the guns on this plane are, though, slightly different from the ones on the Meteor.